If I were leader of the free world, the first issue I would address would be socialism, communism, and totalitarianism. You have a desire to be successful. Everyone does, and that's why you work hard. Your wealth is proportional to the amount of effort you put into each and every activity you do. But how would you feel if no matter how hard you worked, you still got the same salary? How would you feel if the government controlled information, religion, economy, education, agriculture, transportation, business, and could tax you as much as they liked? Capitalism is the ideal that has been driving America since the country was founded. Capitalism is based on the concept that the harder you work, the more money you make. Ideally, the government would not try to control the people in any way, and would impose minimal taxes to help stimulate the economy. People would have more freedom in what kind of job they hold, and what schools and religion they choose to follow. This economic ideal is very different from socialism, communism, and totalitarianism. The idea of socialism and communism originated with a German philosopher, Karl Marx, in the early 1800s. Marx proposed that all private land should be converted into land that would host a factory or an agricultural area that would benefit the economy. The problem with that is that the government controls the economy, stock market, and banks. There is no limit to the amount of taxes the government can impose upon an individual. The essence of socialism is to spread the wealth of people to make everyone equal. That sounds like a sugar-coated idea, but think about this. If you take the hard-earned money from the rich people in the form of taxes and give charity to the poor people who lack the motivation to try and get a decent job, the poor people don't have a reason to work anymore. An anonymous writer says, "Capitalism and communism stand at opposite poles. Their essential difference is this. The communist, seeing the rich man in his fine home, says, 'No man should have so much.' The capitalist, seeing the same thing, says, 'All men should have so much.'" The dictator Saddam Hussein first tried out communism in the 1970s and moved gradually to totalitarianism. The results were disastrous. Part of the Middle East was then under the rule of a ruthless dictator who used his army to force people to do what he wanted. China took the opposite path. China has been communist for about a century and was ruled by presidents for most of that time. In the 1970s, one of the presidents experimented with capitalism and had very successful results. The economy grew so rapidly that it shocked everyone. Entrepreneurism flourished. People were able to get a bigger salary if they worked harder and were able to do things that they couldn't do before, like go to a movie or travel around their own country. The president, Deng Xiaoping, thought that with the freedom the Chinese citizens now had, they would be too hard to control. So, he turned the country back towards communism. Totalitarianism is an extreme version of communism in which the government has control of almost every aspect of people's lives: internet, religion, education, business, and, of course, the economy. North Korea is a perfect example of totalitarianism. The repression of individual rights is so demoralizing and demotivating that people would leave the country given the chance. To counter this, the government has sealed its borders, imprisoning its people and isolating them from any influences from the free world. Winston Churchill once said, "A communist is like a crocodile. When it opens its mouth, you cannot tell whether it is trying to smile or preparing to eat you up." History has shown that it is impossible to suppress the human spirit. People will riot to root out their foul governments and leaders, just like Egypt, Tunisia, and countries all over the Middle East are doing. If I were leader of the free world, I would encourage changes in the economic structure of socialist, communist, and totalitarian governments. I will do anything in my power to support the democratic processes that will end repressive government. I will harness the power of today's communication technologies to speak to people in every corner of the globe about the benefits of free enterprise. One good idea can change the world. Capitalism is that idea. Thank you.